Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going over UFC on ABC 3. This is a pretty good card here actually. No title fights. Early card for all those guys. I believe it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. You know, that's nice. We'll be able to get those fights done and still go out. Alright, first let's say thank you to our sponsor, Tampa Bless, Home Team Do Good, TampaBless.com for more information about that. Let's get right into it. We got the featherweights. We got Brian Ortega ranked number 2. He's 15-2. He's 31 years old. He's a minus 165 favorite. And he's won out of his last 3, losing to Volkanovski and Max Holloway. And in between them, he beat the Korean Zombie. All right, he's going up against Jair Rodriguez, ranked number 3, 13-3, 29 years old, plus 140 underdog. And his last fight was that loss to Max Holloway where those guys lit it up, man. That was a wild one. Tom, should we get fireworks? Yeah, hopefully we do. But what do you see happening here?
Yeah, I definitely think a war. Both these guys are game as they come. And they're both still young. Ortega's 31, Yair's 29. Ortega's the black belt BJJ, but Yair's never lost by sub. So keep that in mind. You know, I like both these guys actually, man, but I got to roll with Ortega here, man. I'm rolling with Ortega by decision. I think that he needs to be careful, though, of getting slept by Yair. Definitely, I think that is potentially Yair's path to victory. Otherwise, I think it's going to be pretty much a war, but Ortega taking it by decision.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of see that this fight hopefully is fireworks for the fans' sake. I think the big advantage here, though, is Ortega on the ground. He's got that sneaky good BJJ, and we've seen it over and over. He can really do a number on guys. We saw it against Volkanovski, where he almost had him. That was really close. And that's the number 1 dude by leaps and bounds right now. Yair, talented, he's durable, but he does not have that good of takedown defense. I think Ortega has pretty good takedowns himself, and I think if he wants to go with a good game plan, he can win without taking too much damage. If he wants to take Yair down, use his BJJ, maybe submit him, maybe just lay on top of him and win the rounds, save his cardio. Just don't know how it plays out. His strength is Jair's weakness, pretty much. So make it a BJJ match is how I see it. I don't think that's how it goes down, though. Ortega has been loving his stand-up game as of late. We see it over and over again. But I agree with you. I think Ortega decision. I think he's the rightful guy here for the job. I think he's the rightful favorite. He just has a little bit more advantages in those categories that I talked about. And for that reason, I'm with you. I agree. Now, the card market goes.
I also wanted to say real quick, I think that I read that Yair is up for a title shot if he wins, so that's extra motivation as well. But I'm sure it's the same for Ortega.
Yeah, I mean, basically they don't want to run Max Holloway a 4th time, so they need some new blood in there. I think we see Volkanovski go up in weight, and we could talk about that at a different time. But he needs new blood, so I think either one of these guys will see it. Definitely Yair gets the victory here. I totally agree with that. Now, as far as both men being printed, both men are holds for me right now. I'm not going to put a buy. I'm not going to put a sell. They're both young. They're both talented. Yair, printed back in 2015, sells for super, super little. His chromes and his prisms, all of it sells for very little if you like Yair to get it done. His prism actually probably sells for more than his rookie card. Ortega printed in 2018, chrome, but holds very little value himself. These guys are both phenomenal fighters. The problem is Volkanovski and Holloway just steal all the limelight. They get all the thunder, and these guys sit on the sidelines. One of them has to break into that category, put Max as the number 2 contender or something like that to really start doing their thing, or Ortega rematch Volkanovski and get the victory somehow. So for that reason, I'm putting them both as holds, though. Can't put them as sells. All right, moving right on. We got one of your favorites now, Tom. I know how much she's grown on you. We got Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie. She's ranked number 10, 36 years old. She's 18-9, plus 265 underdog. And she's 1 out of her last 4, losing to Marina in her last fight. And before that was a win against Angela Hill. She's going up against Amanda Lemos, who's ranked number 11. She's 35 years old herself. She's 11-2, minus 320 favorite as we speak. And last was a loss to Jessica Andrade in that nasty standing arm triangle choke. But before that, she also beat Angela Hill. They just all got victories over Angela Hill. It's pretty remarkable. Tom, how do you...
They're all close fights.
They are close fights, but anyone else gets cut with that kind of record in the UFC. I'm just throwing that out there. How do you see this one playing out?
Jessica, I didn't get cut.
She retired with a horrible record. She should have been cut.
Michelle Waterson, lots of top contenders, that she's faced in her career, and she's lost by decision to most of those that were losses on her end. Look out for the kicks, of course. Going to be a good one, I think. I think both these girls are in really good shape, especially Lemos always looks pretty cut and jacked, but Michelle Waterson is looking incredible right now. She's pretty jacked. She's in really good shape. I'm hoping that she kept up her skill set as well as getting into great condition. I got to roll with the Karate Hottie here by decision, man. I'm going with the underdog here. I'm going to go with her by decision. Lemos, it's hard to say off that last fight. She didn't really show up. It was over so quickly. Andrade just manhandled her.
Andrade is at a different level than a lot of these girls. Period. She's worthy of that. She's been a champ. She goes up and down in weights. I mean, it's hard to compare. But, I mean, this fight was tough. I fight in this fight should be really more like a pick'em versus a 3-1 favor for Lemos. Lemos has the power, but who is she beating? I mean, watch her versus Angela Hill. I go back. I watch some of these fights. I think that's kind of how we see the Waterson fight play out. And she hasn't been knocked out since 2009, and that was her only time getting knocked out. So I think this is volume versus power. I agree. Michelle, if you follow her on Instagram or whatever, TikTok, whatever, she's on everything. She's in phenomenal shape right now. The question is, can she do enough with her kicks to avoid the counter strikes of Lemos? And I think she can. I think she can. She learned from Angela Hill. Don't get too close where you're going to get clipped. And I think Waterson can point out a decision. I agree. This is one of those ones where it's just not right. 3-1 if it was Lemos. If this was even, I'm not sure if I'd feel the same way. But I think Waterson gets it done. I agree with you. Lemos looks to fade the second and third round. She's got such heavy power in the first round. She doesn't get to finish. She does not look as good going forward. And take a look at who she's beat. They're kind of bums where Karate Hottie's losing, but she's losing to the best in the world. It's very different. Losing close battles to the best in the world. So I'm on it. Now, as far as the cards go, Michelle's got a beautiful rookie card, 2015. She even had a rookie auto in that same year. I got one of them laying around here somewhere. She does not demand high prices. She's a longtime fan favorite. Do I think she gets the belt? Probably not. But you know what? I can kind of see the Karate Hottie making waves in other industries where people may look back and want her card. There's certain guys, like I know Brock was the champ, but Brock is so popular because he's still in wrestling and other things. I could see the Karate Hottie getting involved in other things, like Paige Van Dam is now in the AEW or whatever. So Rousey. Yeah, it doesn't have to be wrestling, but just that social media presence, that popularity. The Karate Hottie has it. So I'm going to put a long-term hold on the Karate Hottie. She's so cheap right now, there's really no risk in going after her rookie cards and stuff like that, or rookie auto for like $30 or something. There's not a big risk in it. And I could kind of see it. And normally I don't do it for too many veterans. Now, Lemos, not even printed yet. So we'll just reevaluate her when she comes back around. And we'll see if she can get a win over the Karate Hottie or not. All right, moving right on. We got welterweights. We got Li Jingliang, ranked number 14, plus 145 underdog. He's 34 years old. He's 18-7. And his last fight was not pretty. Hamza just at another level. Chokes him out. Still never been finished, though. I mean, never been KO'd. And he's going up against Muslim Sokolov, minus 170 favorite, 38 years old. He's 18-2, and he's on a 5-fight winning streak, beating Francisco Trinaldo, Azul dos Santos, and Starpoli. Tom, this is a really tough one. How do you see this one going down?
Well, look, man, you got Leach is 34, Muslim's 38. Leach got destroyed last fight, but he's got heavy hands. He KO'd Ponzinibbio back a little ways ago.
Right.
He could put people out, so Muslim's got to be aware of that. But one thing people might not realize is Muslim's kickboxing record, 185-13. I mean, that's an insane kickboxing record. Dude is well-rounded. He's 5-1 in the UFC. He lost his first one, but he's been 5 straight since W's. I'm going with Muslim here by decision. Maybe even by strikes in the second round.
You think he's going to get the strikes against the Leach?
Right, possibly. Yeah. My first pick would be the decision, but I could see maybe second round by strikes.
Yeah. No, I'm actually leaning the upset here. I think this is kind of like Francisco Trinaldo here, where I think the Leach has that durability where he can give Muslim fits. You're constantly, if you go back and watch some of those fights, Trinaldo, when he moves forward the entire time, it works really well, keeping this guy on his back foot. You give this guy space, he is a karate master. There's no question about it. You just mentioned his kickboxing record. The dude definitely knows how to strike in there. He's got awesome kicks. He's got clean jab. He looks really good. But when you watch when these guys press them forward, he's not nearly as effective. The guy wants to use those kicks. And I think, I think the Leach can be that guy that presses forward, eats a few shots, gets a really ugly win here. He just, kind of hangs on him, kind of does the Neil Magny, leeches on him a little bit here, and just grinds out that victory. Li Jingliang is
slowly sucks the blood out of him.
Yeah, I think he can. Li Jingliang, I mean, you're going off his past couple of performances, but Hamzat's at another level. We all know he really is now. And, I mean, he's got a loss like Neil Magny. Neil Magny's really a perennial top 10 for almost his whole career. The guy's very talented. He's just not talked about a lot. So, I mean, it's not really that much if you get beat by Neil Magny either in my book. And then Li Jingliang's got a pretty good record. I mean, Muslim's no joke, but I think he needs that forward pressure, and I think Li can do it. So I'm going with the upset here.
I like it.
Jingliang, ugly decision victory. Now, both men, super talented, but neither man's a buy in my book. I got to give them both stellar ratings right now. They're both, I don't want to say too old, but they're older where they're going to have a very hard time trying to get that belt in the welterweight division right now. 38 and 34. That division's tied up there. Kamaru Usman, Colby, Hamza. There's just a lot of guys to get through. Shavkat's rising.
Usman's seriously talking about going to light heavyweight.
I mean, yeah, that's one of those ones I should write down all the stuff we should talk about on another episode, because Usman not wanting to fight another Nigerian is going to skip over a weight class to go fight that madman Yuri or Jan. Yeah, I'd love to see it, because it'll be the first time we see Usman get knocked out. Yuri is a massive wild man. He is huge, Yuri, man. He's one of those guys who's...
Well, even Jan just laid him prayed on Israel.
Glover at 42 is a massive dude.
All those dudes are light heavyweights, which means they cut down to it.
Right, exactly. So they're just so big. Let him go up there.
It's ambitious, though. I don't know if it's just talk, but if he does it, it's crazy ambitious. Nobody skips 2 weight classes usually. That's like a BJ Penn move.
Plus it kind of contains his legacy, where he's basically his one loss in his whole career. He's been holding the belt down. Is he he's undefeated in the UFC, or was that his UFC debut that he lost? I think he's undefeated in the UFC.
No, he's undefeated.
Yeah, so you're going to go up there and you're going to do the Adesanya, where now it just takes away your credibility a little bit. And Usman's already a little older now, where he's going to come back down. But
it could also lock you in and just retire as the best ever, maybe.
You could. I don't see it happening, but Because then he comes back down, it's all killers lined up waiting for him to try to get his legacy back. And most people,
I mean, he could also hold out and just be like, hey, you know what? Let's see who wins that Adesanya Alex fight. If by chance Alex wins, go fight him.
yeah, I mean, that would be a much better battle for him. But all right, let's not prolong on off topic too long here. Let's get right into the flyweights, because we got Matt Schnell, ranked 8. He's a plus 220 underdog. He's 32 years old. He's 15-6, won no contest. And his last 4 fights was a loss to Royval, a no contest to Bontarine, a win against Tyson Nam, and a loss to Pantoja. The guy's all over the place. All right, he's going up against Summermergy, ranked 12, minus 260 favorite here. Kid's only 26, 16-4, 3-fight winning streak, beating Zaruk and Malcolm Gordon last. And that Malcolm Gordon fight, he was impressive. Go back and watch that one. It's quick. Tom, what do you think's going to go on here? Does Matt Schnell hit the scales all right this week? Does Matt Schnell get a victory this week? How do you see this?
Matthew Christopher Schnell, as he likes to go by now. I don't know how he is ranked number 8. That's just shocking to me. But
I agree.
That just either shows lack of depth in the division or somehow a misranking. Nothing against Matt, but I don't know how you're ranked number 8. But either way, it is what it is. You are number 8. Matt is very skilled, and if he's going to do something, I think it's going to be round 1 is his upset spot where he could take Sue out. Likely strikes, but it could go strikes to a sub with Matt. He's slick. You know, it's a tough call here, man. I'm not too much on the Sue wagon, but I'm going to go with Sue because I think Matt is a round 1 potentially win, but I also think it's a round 1 loss for Matt. And I'm going to go with Sue, round 1 KO.
Oh, that's right where I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm not sold on Matt Schnell. I think he just cuts too much weight, and he needs to move up. He's constantly having weight problems. He's getting sick and has to pull out. Doctor take him out. When that happens, I just don't think some of these guys, they want that such an advantage in size. They don't realize how much better they'll feel when they go up. And then when they finally go up, they're like, oh my gosh, I should have done this my whole career. Happens to a lot of guys. They're just making the cut too hard for themselves. So for that reason, I'm taking Summermergy. I think he gets a KO here. This guy's got real hands. He's got real power. Both men are long, rangy, but Sumu uses his range better. He's got a ton of kickboxing experience prior to coming to the UFC. I don't think people realize how many fights this guy has under his belt also. He's like Muslim. He's got a lot of fights under his belt. He's also got the power, which has been on display. And Matt,
He's got the youth.
And Matt has chin issues, which have been on display. I don't think Schnell gets him to the ground, at least not multiple times where he's going to really have that shot to submit him. Because Schnell's got a sneaky ground game. But I think he's going to have a hard time getting this guy to the ground. He's also tall. He's strong. Like you said, he's young. He's got good kicks, good jabs. I'm on this. I'm not saying I think this kid becomes a champ, but Summermergy gets the victory here. I'm with you. Round 1 KO. Just finishes Schnell. Now, as far as the card market goes, Schnell's got this large following still. We talk about it every once in a while. I put a hard sell on him. I think you take full advantage of that while you can still get some money for his cards. Get him out of your hands. Let the collectors get him. Now, I'm serious. This guy, he's got tons of weight issues. He always has problems coming to the scale and stuff like that. Just not healthy. I'm sure the guy's the nicest guy out there. I don't even like saying bad, but you got guys who love him, sell him. All right, now, Summermergy, I've got to put a hold on him until we see how he looks versus some bigger names. He hasn't really fought any top guys yet. And I'm not really including Schnell in that because I think he just sleeps Matt Schnell. As we mentioned, I've read his schedule off. To be ranked 8th when you got loss, 1 win over Tyson Nam, who I think is in Bellator, cut from the UFC. You know, that's not a number 8 ranking.
Does Sue have a card out?
Yeah, he was printed this year, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Prism this year.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I'm putting a hold on him until we see some of those bigger names. I'm not going to be a buyer just yet. I want to see how he performs a little bit more. Now let's move on to what I'm calling fight of the night right here. I know this is the people's fight right here.
This card's stacked though, for real.
Well,
And if you guys are wondering, we're covering every fight on the main. Why? Because they're all good.
yeah, so we got featherweights. We got Shane Burgos, one of my favorite guys. He's ranked 14. He's a minus 165 favorite. 31 years old. He's 14-3, and he last beat Billy Q. That was a pretty good fight too. And before that, he
Oh
lost to
man,
Barbosa and Emmett, who we know are like the top tier dudes over and over again. Emmett just put it on display again, how good he really is.
Emma might be in a title fight
Right,
soon.
so there's no real shame in there. Now he's going up against Charles Jourdain, plus 140 underdog, kid's 26. He's 13-4-1, and he last beat Lando Venata and Andre Ewell. Tom, there's a lot of questions in this fight for me here, but how do you see this one playing out?
One thing worth noting is Shane's never been subbed, so keep that in mind.
That's not happening in this
I
fight.
almost it's one of these fights where I don't. Yeah, I don't want. I almost don't want to pick a winner here because I like both guys, but that's just the way it goes. We're going to pick something here. I think it's going to be a fun banger. I hope. Shane Burgos almost never has a boring fight. The guy is just an exciting fighter. And I'm going to go with Shane by decision here. I think he's going to get the decision. I don't think he'll put away Charles. I mean, it could happen. It could happen the other way. But my pick is I'm going decision by Shane.
Yeah.
Repping Monroe, New York, too, as I always say.
I like it. Yeah, probably fight of the night here. I'm leaning towards Burgos also. His losses are the top guys in the division. 3 losses is Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, and Edson Barbosa. I mean, if you don't know those names, you don't watch UFC. Those are top guys.
Qatar,
I mean, I think we see a stand-up event here. I think Shane has a big wrestling advantage, but he never uses it. He probably should use it against the other wild man here, Air Jourdain. I just think Shane has a little better striking, a little better chin, and I think the judges are going to reward him for that. I agree. I don't think we see a finish here. Just hopefully amazing fight. I'm going with Burgos to get his hand raised. It's a little surprising, though. Charles Jourdain is kind of one of those guys, like, as he's progressing, he still has, like, 1 step back. He's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's the problem. Which Jourdain do we get in this fight? Now, surprisingly,
he's kind of like Michael Johnson in that respect.
Yeah, but this kid's 26, he could come out, where he could potentially.
No, I know he's young, but he's the type of dude who could put out a big name and he could lose to somebody not as big.
Right, yeah, neither man is printed. I can't imagine they're going to be left out for too much longer, though. Right?
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, both men, super fun. Charles is young. If he keeps training, we might see a totally different version of this guy in a few more years. That's the question with Charles. Where does he take his career at 26 years old? Does he change camps? Does he move to the USA? Does he go over here? We don't know. That's the problem. Charles could be a top-tier contender. Just how serious does he take it? Does he get off trying to only do highlight knockouts kind of deal? We don't know yet. So for that reason, you got to kind of wait for their cards to be printed, but I'd be a hold on both of them right now. I'd probably be a collector of Burgos just because I like him so much, though. All right, moving on. We got some more women here. We got Lauren Murphy, ranked number 3, plus 175, underdog here. 38 years old, 15-5, and her last was a loss to Valentina. And before that, she beat J.J. Calderwood, J.J. Wood now, to get that
She just got cut, I think.
Wood? Yeah.
I thought Wood just got cut.
I don't know if she just got cut. I didn't see it, but she might have. But she's going up against Cupcake, Misha Tate, ranked number 10, minus 205 favorite here. Very surprising. She's 35 years old. She's 19-8, and her last fight was that loss to Ketlin Vieira. I feel like Ketlin just gets so lucky in the judge's decision. She really just doesn't. She plots forward, and she hits some big strikes, but she just, I don't know. She's not impressive. Just throwing that out there. Not impressive at all. But Tom, Misha Cupcake, this is her first time, I believe, fighting down at flyweight. Think she can give these girls a problem? I've listened to her interviews, and she says there really was no flyweight division when she first entered in Strikeforce, so she never really tried to make the cut. So this is her first time. How's this fight play out? It's a really tough call for me just because of that.
I hope Misha's not overlooking. Yeah, I hope she's not overlooking this Lauren Lucky Murphy here, because I saw Misha just recently talking about how she wants to fight Valentina. That's nice, but beat Murphy first. Murphy had 5 wins in a row before her last loss. So let's not pretend like Murphy was on the retirement train there. She was 5 in a row
Let me just say,
before she lost to Valentina.
Let me just say that 5 wins in a row, she might have had the luckiest decision I've ever seen in my life versus Andrea Lee in that one card where the judges were like, I don't know, they must have been high. There was like 3 fights where like even the announcers were like, Joe Rogan and everything's like, what? That's insane. It was a wild card. Murphy lost that fight. Luckiest decision I've ever seen. But
that's her nickname.
Yeah, and she got it. All right, so what do you see happening here?
I almost want to underestimate Murphy, but I have to remember that she did have 5 in a row before that last loss. But I'm still rolling with Misha here. I think that she's going to pull it out by decision. And I wouldn't be surprised if she could possibly get a round 2 or 3 finish. But my first pick would be a decision here, victory by Tate. But my first, just thinking, like, when I originally looked at this, I was like, man, this could be a retirement bout for the loser. But when I started looking a little closer, it's very, unless she just personally wants to do it, I don't see Lauren Murphy retiring, even if she loses. She would have only lost 2 out of 7 of her last fights. So, wouldn't really warrant that unless she just personally was done with it. Misha, on the other hand, she has come off a couple, she come off that tough loss against Vieira. She's dropping a weight class. If she loses this, she might be thinking retirement too.
Yeah, she already retired once, came back thinking she could get the belt. I can see it.
So, we'll see, but I'm going to go with Misha. I'm going to go Misha by decision, but I could see, like I said, I could see a round 2 or 3 finish strikes.
Right. Yeah, this one's pretty hard to call. I'm also heavily leaning towards.
Actually, you know what? I'm not calling strikes. I'm just calling a finish.
I'm leaning Misha here, but my things are: how does Misha weigh in? Does it drain her energy coming down to this size? When someone's never came to this size and she's 35 making the cut now. This is one of those ones we're going to have to wait for weigh-ins to really see how she looks. I mean, she always looks in very good shape, Misha. There's no question she takes care of herself, but I got to see the weigh-ins for this one. I think Lauren Murphy, I think she's aging out for sure. I think this is a good, winnable matchup to propel Misha Tate higher in the rankings, though. She's ranked number 10 in the bantamweight division, and we know there's probably not even more than 15 bantamweight in the women's division. And Murphy ranked number 3 right now, which is kind of crazy. That's a big propel right there where they could say, hey, Misha, yeah, here's a title shot if you win. I can see it. I think Murphy's very durable. I think Misha's very durable too, and I think Misha has a big ground game advantage here. I do see a sneaky stub potentially coming. I don't think we see any kind of standing KOs here, but I do see a finish. I could see a finish from Tate here. Late round 3, kind of like her opening thing versus Marion Renault. That was her first time fighting in like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And she got the finish against someone who's never been finished. So I just think in her last fight she was just totally undersized. I think this is a great move for her to come down because she's always had a little weight where she looks like she could have lost. The Ketlin is just so big. I'm with you. I see it. I see Misha winning. But you don't want to sleep on Murphy at the same time. Now, as far as the card market goes, Murphy, very hard sell. Enough said. I'm not going to spend any time on that. Hard sell on Murphy. I mean, what's she going to do? Try to beat Valentina again? It's not going to happen. So Tate is very tricky, though. She's a legend in the sport, but it was just so early on that most of these girls have surpassed her in skill set, like Valentina, Joanna, Amanda. So it's very difficult. But she sells pretty well when she's priced well. I don't know if she ever really drifts upwards is the problem. I don't know what propels her up because I don't see her beating Valentina. So I'd have to be a seller, but it's a cautious seller because I understand how legendary Misha really is in her own right, and how vocal she is, and how much popularity she has in other, not just the UFC, but ONE FC and everything else, podcasts and everything. She's very popular. So you just got to keep that in mind sometimes. That can help. Now let's move on to another one that could be fight of the night right here. I know Ricky Simón ranked 13, plus 135 underdog. He's 29 years old. He's 19-3. It's not always the most exciting, but he can fight, boy. Now he's on a 4-fight winning streak. He beat Rafael Sunsao, Brian Kelleher, Gaetano, and Ray Borg. Now he's going up against Jack Shore, who's ranked 13, minus 155 favorite, 27 years old. He's 16-0, and he's coming off beating Timur Valiev, was a tough. And I believe he got cut for some reason. He's off the roster now, I'm pretty sure, Timur. I'm not really sure why, but it's not for me to say. He also beat Ludovic Shalin, so that was another tough one. Jack Shore's got some good wins here. Riding high. This will definitely be, to me, his biggest challenge yet, though, in Ricky Simón. Tom, does he stay undefeated? Does Ricky Simón get the big upset here? How do you see this?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good one. I agree with you. This is a definite one you want to watch. I could see it going either way here. I'm going with the Welshman, though. I'm going with Shore by decision, but this is going to be good. And I could see it going either way here, but I'm rocking with Jack here.
Yeah, so I like both these guys a lot. I think Shore is the rightful favorite, but I have to see how the takedowns look for Ricky Simón. I think Shore has a stand-up advantage. I think he has a reach advantage. And I think if he can keep it on the feet, he can get the victory. I think Simón just keeps getting better and better, though. Every time I watch him, he's got the gas tank to chain wrestle, which not everybody has. I worry he will test his stand-up skills. So some of these guys, they don't want to always go to their bread and butter. We saw that with Sean Strickland, who should have gone wrestling or BJJ. Doesn't always work out for you when you can't humble yourself. You get humbled. So I think that's my problem here. Does Ricky Simón go to the well? I think he does, though. And I'm going to actually take a really dirty, really ugly decision by Ricky Simón in this one.
Ooh,
I think he's
like
going to lay on top of him, not do a lot, because this kid Jack Shore can do a little bit of everything. But I think he's going to get taken down, and I think he's going to do enough just to grind out the decision. And hopefully he doesn't get his chin tested, because I think that will be Jack Shore's key to victory here. He could knock him out. Now, both men, super young, super talented. Buy rating on both of them if the price is right. I like them both. All right, last fight that we're covering today, we got the light heavyweights. Another guy I'm very keen on, a little older now. I think came to the UFC a little bit late. We got Dustin Jacoby, ranked 15, plus 105, underdog, 34 years old. He's 17-5-1, and he's on an 8-fight not losing streak, 7 wins, 1 draw, and he last beat Mikel, and he also beat John Allen. Now he's going up against Da-Un Jung, minus 125 favorite here, 28 years old, 15-2-1, and he last beat Kennedy Nchukwu and William Knight. He's also on a 15-fight not losing streak, 14 wins, 1 draw. Tom, who gets the big L here in the UFC?
Yeah, this is going to be a striking match. Not a big surprise, I think. I think it's going to – both these dudes can strike. And, Da-Un Jung, this dude is sneaky strong. Like, it almost looked like he was working in slow motion against Kennedy, and all of a sudden Kennedy's knocked out. I was like, yo, what the heck just happened here?
I did not see that coming. It was a weird elbow, and he was done. It was like he was covered up, too.
I was like, this guy hits hard, man. This Jun Da-Un, and he's a big dude, too. He's up there in the 6'5" range.
Yeah, it's very big.
He's a big dude, and Dustin's pretty big as well. He's not going to have that big of a size advantage height-wise on Dustin either. I think he has a slight advantage. I got to roll with Dustin here, though, man. I just like Dustin more, honestly. And I think that, from his glory days, this is going to fit his type of fight as long as he doesn't get put out.
Right.
and I think he can take Jun out by points in a decision.
Yeah.
Just strikes and maybe even, damage as well.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I've been on the Jacoby train for a little while. I feel this fight's pretty even. I feel Danyan has pretty good hands. He's got good kicks. He's got decent takedowns. We saw him versus William Knight. We know he has power. I mean, Kennedy's never been knocked out before that. I just feel with all the experience that Dustin has, though, he should be able to point him up. Now, the crazy thing is there's a reach advantage for Dawoon Jung with the hands, but I think Jacoby has like a 6 or 7 inch reach advantage with the legs, at least according to the UFC sites.
Wow, okay.
And he's a kickboxer, so that's a
crazy.
big thing for him. And like you said, I forget the exact height, but Dawoon Jung is listed at like 6'3", according to the UFC, and I think Jacoby's like 6'2" or something like that. So it's not you're not seeing a crazy disparity anywhere like that where he had over some of these past guys, like William Knight, where he just kind of was able to smother him and trip him. Kind of weird. I think Jacoby stays undefeated in the UFC. I think he points him up. I think Dawoon Jung is going to have a much harder time without having a size advantage. And the problem with Kennedy, and I've been high on Kennedy for a while, but he's just kind of disappointed me a few times. So his last fight again, he didn't start. He just kind of stayed there for a while. And Dawoon Jung had the power to finish it while you just stand there and look at him. Jacoby starts fast. He starts good. He's got great kicks and everything. I don't see the same effect. I think Jacoby's the rightful favorite here. I think Dawoon Jung should be the underdog. It's not how it is, though, so I'll put my money on Jacoby. Now.
And, I just wanted to mention here real quick, I do see these guys both on the cusp of getting themselves a pretty good match in their next match. Like the winner, I think, is going to get themselves a nicely ranked opponent. It's due to them. It's only right. The winner of this, and I think Dustin will be moving up on the cards. This one doesn't have an early prelim, but they've been loving to stick Jacoby on the early prelims, even though he's got, 5 wins and a draw in the UFC. He's undefeated in the UFC. But he's still like lower on the card. He's halfway up the prelims, which is one of his better placements up to this date. But he needs to move up even further, man, because if he gets this win, if not, Jung will be moving up. Because I just think the winner of this, these guys are like, they beat enough people that are like on the way up the ladder to where they're going to see somebody maybe ranked coming up.
Well, Jacoby's number 15.
In the top
so
10-ish.
He definitely is going to be fighting up if he gets this victory.
What?
Jacoby's ranked 15. So he's definitely going to be fighting guys.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
He's definitely going to move up the ladder if he gets another victory here.
And I think rightfully so.
Now, both men just printed. I want to see how Jung develops. I want to see how he does versus very tough Jacoby here. If he impresses, you got to stamp that speculate buy rating on him. Jacoby has a long road to climb at 34. But I'm also going to put a little spec buy rating on him as well. 34, he really can't afford to have too many losses. I'm just going to say not everybody's Glover Teixeira where they're going to get the title at 42 years old. It just doesn't happen like that. So 34, he's got to keep steamrolling, guys, and keep climbing. But I'm with you. Guys, I appreciate you joining us today, and we'll catch you guys very soon.